Hello, this is Dr. Rhadi Ferguson, and welcome to another edition of Coffee with Rhadi. I would like to explain something to you that is very important, something that um, may provide some clarity to your life and your life experiences. This particular thing or issue may not be something that is readily applicable to your life, but it is something that will definitely provide some clarity to you, as it has provided clarity to me this past particular year. I enjoy reading. I enjoy reading books. I enjoy reading journals, research articles, etc. So does my wife. You could possibly find us one evening sitting down in our living room where she's reading the medical journal and I'm possibly reading one of the journals from the National Strength and Conditioning Association, or one of the journals on psychology, or anything on organizational behavioral management or organizational behavioral studies. These kind of things interest me, especially as a coach, because even though I coach people, I end up coaching emotions, behaviors, attitudes, and experiences. One of the things that I found out through reading, I wouldn't even say research, because I haven't done any research on it, but just from reading and digesting the material that's available in the field on interpersonal studies and behavioral management, is I've been able to get information based upon giving and receiving, and the interpersonal reaction on giving and receiving. Case in point, if you're walking down the road and it's raining and you're trying to get to a place and someone comes beside you in a car and offers you a ride, and you've been walking 2 or 3 miles and you have 3 to 4 miles to go, and they offer you a ride and you accept and you get in the car and they drive you to your destination, and you get out and you say, "Hey man, thanks, I appreciate it." They say, "Oh man, it was nothing." And you get out the car. At the time when you're in the rain and you're in your circumstance or your storm situation and you get saved or you get delivered from that thing, it seems like everything. But by the time that you get to your destination, it doesn't seem as important anymore. And 2 or 3 years later, it almost seems like the ride was nothing. See, when it comes to favors and interpersonal relationships and interpersonal dynamics, the favor from the giver's perspective is minimized in its evaluation per the receiver. Meaning, when you receive the ride, after you get out, you say, "Thanks." Because as the receiver, you valued the ride as being a great thing at that particular time. But the giver said, "Oh man, don't worry about it, it was nothing." He devaluates it because it's not a big deal to him at that time. But 4 or 5 years pass, and now it's small to the receiver, but it's a big deal to the giver. Here's what the research says. Upon the exchange of a favor, to the recipient, it seems like it is a big deal. And to the giver, it is evaluated as a small deal. But as time passes, to the recipient, it is evaluated as a small deal, and to the giver, it is evaluated as a big deal. See, here's why this is important and what you need to understand in terms of your relationships with people. And I'm telling you this because it can provide an amount of tension, or even a schism or a disconnect over a period of time, and a misunderstanding if you don't understand how these things work. See, if you really needed me to call one of my friends to help you out of a jam, and I called, and you said, "Man, thanks so much, I appreciate it," and I did that for you, and I said, "Hey man, no problem, it was nothing." And then 2 years go by, or 10 months, or 12 weeks go by, and then I need something from you, and then I can't get it, I can't get it because in your mind you have devaluated what I've done for you. But you have to understand that over time, what I did for you is now important. So if you go around thinking, oh man, you said it was nothing. Yeah, I said it was nothing because to me it was nothing at the time. But per the research, over a period of time, it becomes a big deal to me. And that's why people, when they see you when you're older, people who have invested in your life when you were younger, they say, you know, I knew you when you were so-and-so. I raised you. I changed your diapers. I X, Y, Z. Because to them, their particular input in your life is grandiose. But to you, it's minuscule because time has passed. And what you need to recognize is those people who helped you back then, they are very important to where you are now, and how they helped you and what they helped you with, to them seems like a big deal. See, I had to learn a big lesson in this. Something that I knew by reading conceptually, I had to actually put into practice. So I had someone who helped me in the sport of judo a while back. And someone had to bring to my attention how much they actually helped. See, in my mind, I had diminished how much they helped because I have done so much since then. Not understanding that as time passed, that little piece or portion which they helped me with, in their mind, had grew or blossomed to become something greater than I could have even fathomed that it was. Which means they felt like they had a bigger impact on my career than I felt that they did. Neither one of us was right and neither one of us was wrong. But our perceptions are what our perceptions are. And what I'm trying to tell you is, you personally, see, you, as this year ends, personally, you have gotten where you are. You have done some things in your life this particular year that you felt that you did on your own. And you've diminished the small things that people have done to help you along the way. And it has made you seem selfish and less gracious than you actually are. But if you don't go back and actually say thank you and constantly tell people how much you appreciate them, you don't know who you have offended. And what happens is those people who have given to you before are usually in the same capacity to continue to give to you. But they stop giving to you because they have deemed you as being ungrateful. But this is a phenomenon that happens with everybody. And this is a reason why some relationships move themselves into the realm of obsolescence. Because some people just move away from others because they feel their impact on one's life was greater than the person perceives it to be. So then what happens is they believe that they have grown apart. The only cure for this is if you as an individual constantly provide your personal communications with a diet of gratitude by saying, thank you, I really appreciate you. See, actually, when you say, hey man, it was nothing, as a listener, you have to hear, you know, it was actually something, but for you, because of how much I love you and how much I respect you, it was nothing, but it was actually something. So that you know in your mind that it was actually something. I think that we forget until we get older, until we pass the divide of middle age, if you will. 35, 40, where we become a little bit more reflective. I think we bypass the deposits, the financial, emotional, and chronological deposits that people have made in our lives to get us where we are. And we begin to lean on our own personal accolades and those things that we've done. And we think that it was us. And in our thinking that it was us, we don't understand that there is no us without a them. This is why, and I'm understanding now what I didn't understand before because I have children now. This is why parents almost break down into tears when their kids don't want to give them a hug, don't want to give them a kiss, or become disrespectful to them in any sort of way or manner. Because as you get older, you diminish the fact that somebody had to actually feed you for you to live, because if they would have walked off from you, you would have died. And somebody actually had to house you and keep you and dress you and clothe you and provide you with care, no matter if it was 1 day or 50 days, for you to be who and what you are. But when you get older, you diminish their contributions to your life, not understanding that in their mind, their contributions to your life have become greater over time, and you've lessened them over time. And sometimes we all forget to go back and say, hey mom, hey dad, I appreciated the fact that you listened to me and actually bought me that toy when I was 7 years old, because it meant the world to me then. And although it doesn't really mean a lot to me right now, when I was 7, it meant something. Because to your parents, or to the people who did something for you, it means the world to them now, although it doesn't mean much to you now. The purpose for today's Coffee with Rhadi is for you to understand that when it comes to relationships and interpersonal dynamics, that the common thread for people to stay in touch with one another or linked closely with each other is gratitude and appreciation. Many of us, I can say us because I made a mistake too, don't take the time or effort to show someone how much we appreciate them, or to even go back in time and let people know how much they are appreciated. Most of my elementary teachers, so the elementary school that I went to in Miami, don't teach there anymore. Some have passed on, like my art teacher, Mrs. Yesner, and some are still living. But when I go back to Miami, I stop by my elementary school, and every so often I see somebody who touched my life back then, no matter if they taught me or if they were the custodian. And I tell them, hey man, I really appreciate you and the things you used to tell me and the advice you used to give me back then. And when you told me to stop running in the hallway. Because even though it was a small thing to tell me to stop running in the hallway, you actually taught me that places and environments have rules and they must be followed. And I need to listen to authority when authority provides a mandate. And I appreciate that. Didn't mean a big deal to me at this particular point in my life. And I probably didn't even recognize it back then. But to them, those people who are invested in your life, or your lives, they feel that they have done a great service for society, and they have. But the problem is over time, society has diminished what they have provided. It's up to you to go look back in a timeline of your life and to tell somebody thank you and how much you appreciate them. I'm telling you. I am telling you. We diminish it. We reduce it. It's kind of horrible too when you think about it. and a text isn't enough. Sending somebody a text saying thank you, man, is just not enough. Because in their mind, understand what I'm telling you, in their mind, what they have provided is greater than the text that you're going to send. It's a message mismatch to what they provided. I am killing a mosquito with an axe right now. But the reason why I'm doing this is because so many relationships, so many marriages, so many friendships are damaged over a period of time. I don't know if I think some of it is for ignorance of not knowing, and the true definition of the word ignorance, and some of it can be contributed to arrogance and ego because of your lack of saying thank you. Take the time and understand this as I close. In the relationship between the giver and the receiver, at the initial time of the rendering of the favor by the giver is reduced in terms of importance, and the favor by the receiver is increased in importance. Case in point, if you're getting ready to walk outside and it's raining, and you don't have an umbrella, and I hand you an umbrella, you say thank you very much. I say it was nothing. Later on in the day, or after time has passed, or a year later, or 5 months later, the favor rendered by the giver has increased in importance, and to the receiver has reduced in importance. That is why when we were younger and we asked somebody for something who we gave a favor to earlier or previously, we always said, oh, remember that time when I gave you so and so? Because the phenomenon of what I just explained in terms of interpersonal dynamics was playing out with us as children, to the point where we said, remember that time when I gave you a package of now and laters, and now I'm asking you for one coconut long boy and you can't give me that. So I tell you, remember that time when somebody did something for you and it seemed like it was small? To them it's actually big right now. It doesn't hurt anything for you to say, hey man, thanks. You really went out of your way. Because when you don't do that, those people feel like they have been disrespected. They feel like they are not appreciated. And it creates a schism in your relationship and a wide chasm that over a period of time becomes too far to jump across. This is Dr. Rhadi Ferguson. I hope you have a super fantastic day. And please do me a favor and visit www.coffeewithrhadi.com, and please support me and my family by buying my book. Take care and have a great day.